For 15 years, they've been learning from their masters, evolving from smugglers into sought-after drug suppliers and avoiding violence to rely on creating a strong network of alliances. Now, this is the modus operandi of Albanian criminal organizations that, according to the National Crime Agency, the British National Security Agency, manage a large part of the narcotics market in the country, and for a total of up to £6 billion, according to the British Ministry of the Interior. The gang, which is an Albanian street crew of narco dealers, is famously known locally for its violence and more widely for its social media output featuring Ferraris and thick wads of £50 notes, gold Rolex watches to help improve its reputation and recruit youngsters. Also, the Gascoigne estate, built in the 1960s and taking land that slopes south of Barking town centre to the Thames, which is its historical home turf. How Albanians came to overtake the UK's narco market is a lesson in criminal savvy, with the value of making friends with the world's most dangerous mafias, as well as the absolute threat of violence. It all started with a business model which was simple in concept, however sufficiently bold to subvert the existing order. For many years, Narcotics International importers worked separately from its wholesalers and the gangs. Its pricing structure varied, depending on the drug's purity. The higher it was, the more it cost. The Albanians later ditched the entire model. They started negotiating directly with the Colombian cartels that controlled coca production. Huge shipments were arranged directly from South America. Supply chains were kept in-house. According to the NCA, the Albanian criminal groups have favored the creation of the so-called county lines and capillary networks used to move drugs that run throughout the UK, moving narcotics from large cities into the coastal and into inland provinces. Also, these commercial routes are not only used by Albanian criminal groups but also by local and foreign ones. During 2021 alone, the police carried out a series of raids that led to the arrest of up to 1,468 people across the territory, seizing drugs and cash for more than £2 million and confiscating an arsenal consisting of 49 guns. According to government data, organised crime costs the UK's national economy around £37 billion annually. But this number depicts only a partial image of the theory, since it does not consider the money which has been laundered and then placed in the legal economy through the massive sale of a series of goods. Moreover, the intelligence obtained by British experts revealed that the Albanians were getting narcotics from the cartels for about £4,000 to £5,000 a kilo, when competitors thought they were getting a decent deal using Dutch wholesalers selling at £22,500 a kilo. The Albanian mafia lowered the price of narcotics and increased its purity. More major consignments were brought into the UK. But how did the Albanian mafia take out a prominent place in the UK criminal landscape? Well, the history of their settlement can be traced back to the 1990s and is usually linked with the Kosovo War and a feud in which over 1 million people were shuffled between 1998 and 1999. More than hundreds of thousands of Kosovars left the country and sought refuge in neighbouring and European countries, along with a large majority settled in Tirana, Albania. But during those years, many refugees who reached the British border sought asylum from Albanian citizens who identified themselves as the Kosovars to receive preferential welcoming treatment. As of today, there is no univocal number of Albanian citizens residing in the UK. In the year 2019, the National Statistics Office released a rough estimate claiming that about 47,000 Albanians are living in the country and 29,000 Kosovars. But according to the British databases, in the year of the pandemic alone, 3,071 citizens of Albanian mafia's origin requested political asylum in the country. The competitors to the Albanian gangs, like Albanians, initially struggled to compete because they had an inferior, more expensive product. Then their only option has been to buy cocaine sourced from the mafia Shqiptar. This is considerable evidence that the Albanians are working with the 'Ndrangheta and have formed the tightest of alliances. Sources say the Italian mafia considers the Albanians as equals. The United Kingdom narco market is one of the most thriving in Europe. Before the pandemic, it had amassed around €30 billion in profit, a huge amount that every criminal group wanted to get. Just 10 years ago, a kilo of narcotics was sold for around €40,000, while in years right before COVID-19 in 2020, the price had dropped below €30,000 as well. Moreover, the Albanian organizations have forced their competitors to adapt to the new fares so as not to lose ground in the market. Their profit then increased as they started to look at Latin America, where even with the historic domination of the Ndrangheta brokers, they found links and opportunities. The Albanian people at the top of the criminal landscape have settled in Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, as well as Peru. And those who can buy cocaine at $4,000 a kilo in South America, which they sold for €30,000 once it reached European ports, helped by a dense network of corrupt port officials as well as operators in the most critical maritime commercial areas in Europe. Mainly in Rotterdam, Antwerp and Algeciras, the Albanian Mafia has placed its collaborators in key positions inside the ports, allowing them to bypass security checks easily. But operations are not always unchecked. In April, the Belgian police intercepted and seized a shipment of 27 tons of narcotics from South America, which got sold at an average of up to €30,000 per kilo, which would have brought in revenue of over €800 million. Now, this is the most important operation carried out in the country's history to counter narco-trafficking. Recently, investigators have been trying to arrest those responsible for the narcotic shipments, and some Albanian families are said to be being investigated. Those who import narcotics into the UK usually ship to Dutch or German ports. However, in some cases, the shipment is sent directly to the UK. The system is not only used by Albanian criminal clans, but also by indigenous groups. In 2019, two British citizens of Liverpool, Gary Swift and Scott Kilgore, were intercepted half a mile off Wales by border police with a shipment of narcotics that would have made £60 million. Then the next year, both were sentenced to 19.5 years and 13.5 years by the Swansea court on charges of importing about 750 kilos of premium narcotics from South America to the United Kingdom. The narcotic was hidden in the Sai Atrevedo, which is a yacht bought in Mallorca in Spain in 2018 for about £50,000. In operation, 4 other people between Liverpool and Loughborough were found connected to the crime. The lieutenants of the bosses in continental Europe usually manage the business in Great Britain. In recent years, however, a new generation of Albanian gangs have been trying to impose their domination in the English capital. They call themselves Hellbanians, and their economic power is shown in their social media profiles, where they exhibit, hidden by balaclavas, Rolexes, sports cars, expensive bottles of sparkling wine, and wads of banknotes. Their headquarters are in Barking, East London. In the year 2016, 3 of them were sentenced to 42 years in prison. One of the main gang bosses, Tristan Aslani, got a 25-year sentence for several crimes, including drug trafficking and possession of a firearm. It's quite easy to come across semi-empty car washes on the streets of London as well as in the British hinterland. According to the latest data, the Albanian criminal organizations are the owners of hundreds of them. Moreover, faithfulness, great economic resources, violence and cruelty when needed, but also direct contacts with South American producers, show that Albanian criminal organizations have the right skills to impose themselves in the geopolitics of organized crime. But how far can they go? This will depend on the effects of the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union. Now, if Brexit forces a change in trade routes and Albanian criminal groups import directly into the UK without passing through the other European hubs, they could see corruption and violence soar in the seaports, as it happened in Belgium and Holland, where recently there have been shootings in the streets of Rotterdam, Amsterdam and Antwerp. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. If you liked today's video, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be always updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching, see you again soon in another video.